either he was married, engaged, or had a family with 9 different people.
Yeah,
like,
that was crazy.
Women.
Over the span of 10 years.
Yes. So what he would do is he would get married and then break it off. And during that break off period, he would get engaged with
To another girl.
To another girl. And then in the meantime, he would date somebody. It's like there's like a chain.
Wow.
Or
yeah.
if he got kicked out of the house because, you know, he was his real identity was uncovered, he would jump to another person's house and, or, you know, person he was dating and proposes to her.
All 9 women didn't really even know about each other until after the fact, right? When they finally caught the guy, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. But he had like multiple identities.
Hi, welcome to the Magnetic Mismatch Show. This is Linda.
And this is Will. And before you do anything else, please make sure to subscribe and like our content on YouTube and also on Instagram at Magnetic Mismatch. And of course, make sure if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcast and basically every other audio platform. I'm pretty sure we're on all of them now, right?
Yeah, even the little ones.
Yeah, so we're everywhere, guys. You can't escape us. But yeah, welcome back, to another episode for our returning listeners. And if this is your first time listening to us, welcome.
Welcome.
We appreciate you checking in. So we wanted to start off the episode with sharing a quick story about what happened recently. Of course, stuff like this happens to only us, right? No, just kidding. But it was pretty funny.
It feels like it.
Sometimes it does. It's like, you can't make this stuff up, right?
No, it's just too good to make up.
So you want to tell them a little bit about what happened?
Yeah, so Will and I, we've been trying to be really good about cooking and eating at home and just trying to be as healthy. Trying.
The key word is trying, guys.
Yes, that's trying.
Trying our best, yes.
Our best to be as healthy as possible, right? So this one day, we didn't have anything really delicious to eat for lunch.
Prepare, or had prepared in advance, yeah.
I mean, we have food, but it wasn't like...
You didn't feel like cooking, let's put it that way.
Yeah, or I didn't feel like warming up what we had in the fridge.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, let's treat ourselves today since we've been so good.
Yeah.
Let's DoorDash something good because, it's too late to go pick up or go cook something extra good.
And we were both really busy that day.
Yeah, and just tired. So I'm like, okay, I'm just deliver us some food. And I ordered from this little sandwich shop that we love a lot. Mm-hmm. Right? And I was super excited for my lunch.
Oh, we were both drooling. It's
like,
ooh, French baguettes.
Exactly. And so I get a delivery confirmation, but I was like busy on the phone, or I don't know what I was doing. So I didn't open the door immediately to grab the food. I think I waited like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Before I was able to open the door to get the food. And I opened the door and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't see my food. Like nothing is there. So I'm like, okay. I was like kind of sad. I was like, oh no, I hope, someone didn't just steal our food. Right?
Yeah.
Because if they did, I would feel like, okay, it's our fault for not getting it immediately.
Yeah.
So I decided to open the app, and it shows that it was delivered to the front door. That's what the app said. But you can click on it to look at a photo. So I clicked on the link, and it was like someone's Instagram story, like a screenshot of someone's Instagram story. So I showed it to Will, and I'm like, hey, it's a picture of some guy's, or I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, some person's backseat with our sandwich, because I recognized the packaging of that restaurant.
Yeah.
And it was like a caption, but it was in Spanish. Right? So I showed it to Will.
With some emojis on there.
Yeah, with some emoji of like hearts and this.
Heart eyes.
Yeah, heart eyes and flowers. Oh, and there were flowers in the back seat too. It's like there was like flowers.
And then our lunch.
And our lunch in the back seat. So I showed it to Will, and Will typed it into Google Translate, and it basically said, what did it say?
It said like, when your boyfriend surprises you, you know he loves me or something.
Yeah, or like with
loves
gifts
you.
or something.
Yeah. And we were like, what? We started busting out laughing because at first we were like in disbelief, right? We were like, did this guy send this by accident or did he mean to send this? I bet you he did it by accident.
I think he did it by accident.
There's no way he would have done that purposely because, it's going to be seen by his employer. You know what I mean?
Or he's doing it on purpose. Maybe it's his last day.
I'm just going to troll people. That's pretty hilarious, though. So his girlfriend, or I'm assuming it's a guy, right? So that's his girlfriend's.
I think, I don't know.
Well, let's just assume, right, that it was his girlfriend's Instagram story. And I wonder, so she's under the belief that he went out of his way to
buy her lunch.
How romantic.
And you know what? And I'm so sad.
But it's actually our lunch.
But I'm so sad too because I ordered like 2 additional sandwiches. So I bought like 4.
Yeah, you went like overboard.
Because I usually do that. If I'm going to order lunch, I'm going to order like a good amount.
Because we might want some snacks later.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm like, so she must be like, wow, I'm so spoiled.
That's hilarious.
And So I'm like, okay, let's try to reorder our sandwiches.
Yeah.
So I went back on the app, and it turns out the restaurant's closed at like 3 o'clock or something, and it was already past 3. So I'm like,
total fail.
Yeah. So we ended up eating like probably grass in the fridge or something. I don't know.
Just throw something together. Yeah, that was pretty funny, and of course that would happen when you order.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's fine.
No, they have. Most of the time it's good.
It's like, dude, don't you check before you send? Like,
but let's be fair. We don't do DoorDash that often.
Yeah.
It's usually try to pick it up at the restaurant, curbside.
Yeah. So that was one of our highlights in this last week, right, or so. Mm-hmm. But that's the most exciting thing so far. It's kind of sad, but that's all right. Actually, we have a good topic today, though. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
And of course, this one, another topic that Linda picked, kind of out of nowhere, but I guess you can explain a little bit how you came up with this topic. But the topic is your partner living a double life?
Okay. So if you've been listening to us for a while, you know that I like to go into these rabbit holes. Mm-hmm. I like just like random topics because I watch something or something caught my eye.
You watch the oddest things and you're just like very curious soul. Like you're always like trying to look for random stuff.
I don't know, they come to me.
Yeah.
But
you go down this black hole, right, of just information, and you find one thing, then you jump to another, then we all do it sometimes.
And then I get mad at you for it.
Yeah, because I'm like watching a show or something, and then you like smack me, and it's like, hey, are you hiding something from me? And I'm like, what? Where's this coming from? I always get like caught off guard because I never know when you have something that you just want to bring up to me. It's like random, very, very random.
Yeah, but how it started was I got recommended by Netflix, right? It was like a top 10 movie.
So you're blaming it on Netflix.
Yeah, it's their fault for bringing up that topic. Okay. And I mean, the movie was good.
What was the movie called?
It's called I Care a Lot. It's actually really good. But I don't want to spoil it too much for our audience.
Mm-hmm. So but give us like some general.
Yeah. So basically, Marla, it's one of the main characters, or actually she is the main character. She owns like a care facility.
For old people? Or
yeah, for old people.
Okay.
But so she cons them, even if they don't need to be in the facility. So her target, her ideal clients, I guess her avatar, is someone who doesn't have family, who's wealthy, who doesn't have friends. So they're pretty.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah, they're kind of isolated. They probably have some friends, but yeah, and she kind of works with this doctor, and the doctor kind of tips her off.
Oh, so they're in on it together.
Yeah,
so it's like a scheme.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people.
Okay.
And so it's like you're right. It's like a scheme, and they target certain demographic, and so so what she does is that she brings them into her facility by force. So her and the doctor will call like an emergency court hearing, basically, saying that this person can no longer care for themselves, they're a danger to themselves.
Oh, wow.
So she becomes their guardian. And when she becomes their guardian, what she does is that now she has full legal access to the person's finances, their houses. I don't know if it's in the real world, what how that works, but it's
if you're somebody's guardian, you do have a lot of rights, because you're technically supposed to act on the best interest of that person on their behalf, basically.
Oh wow! So what she does?
She has a lot of power, right?
Okay, yeah. So she'll go through like their bank accounts. She starts going through their safe. They have any? She starts selling away their stuff, like their house to pay for the facility. So that's how she cons them.
So that's how she makes the money.
That's how she makes the money, and to run the facility, and in addition to that, she strips them from their cell phone, no access to cell phones, any cell phones, or telephone, right? So they're isolated from the outside world. And when the family tries to visit,
if they have family.
Yeah, if they have family.
Yeah.
In one instance, like the person did, and she refuses to let them see the mom.
Okay.
Right, and she'll call like security out. They get angry. She'll have it on tape, and then let's say if the person tries to take them to court, she'll bring those evidence and be like, oh, you can't because you're not stable, and look, this is how you behave in the facility, kind of thing. And
she basically deflects it back on the family, makes them look crazy, and so they never find out about what she's really doing.
Exactly.
Wow.
And from the outside, people are praising her, right, for taking care of these elderly people that can't defend themselves, but in reality,
she's looked at as like a hero.
Exactly. And in reality, she is conning them and isolating them. And it's so sad. Like they medicate these patients, and make them feel like, oh, they have like dementia or something.
So she drugs them basically, right?
Some of them, yeah.
I see. Wow. That's messed up.
Yeah, but so one of her target is a lady named Jennifer. And, from the outside, even, in the doctor's perspective, the one that's been taking care of her was like, oh, she's like the ideal client or patient, right? Is someone who doesn't have family, doesn't have friends, lives in a very wealthy area.
So she nobody knows her, but she has a lot of money. So if they basically take advantage of her, then
no one would know. Yeah. And, one of the person that works at the facility that's in on the scheme does research. And she's like, yeah, this person really doesn't have any family or any friends. And, she works, they basically did a background check on her.
Right.
But it turns out that she's actually not that person that they did research on. The name is just a name that they've stripped from a dead person.
So she's using an alias.
Yes. So the real her, right, whoever she is, so they stripped her background and they gave her an alias name, and they also stripped the background of the alias person. So, they basically gave her a brand new identity. Mm-hmm. And in reality, her son is like part of like the I don't know, the mafia or something.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so she's associated with a lot of high-powered people.
Oh, okay. But the main character, the one that's scamming these elderly folks, doesn't know that.
Yes, does not know that.
So it's kind of like karma, right? Because now the target that she thinks is, oh, she's like helpless, is actually connected to the mob.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and so that's kind of the story, right? And
yeah. So it brings up a really good point.
so you went from that to this topic of like living a double life. I guess that's true. Both of the characters are
both of them, right? Because on the surface level, like whoever that meets them or knows them from a surface, it's like their identity is completely different from who they actually really
right.
are.
Yeah, they're hiding their real self or their other self from
the world,
people,
basically.
yeah, the world or somebody close to them potentially, right? Mm-hmm. So is that why you smacked me? Because you thought I'm living a double life? What do you think? I'm like a secret agent or something?
No, and then from there...
And even if I were, I can't tell you.
No, I know you're not. Because for the last year and couple months, we've been spending
we've been trapped at home together.
24 hours together. And
That's true.
Nothing really exciting happens for you.
Yeah, we don't leave the house too much, unfortunately.
No, we try to be safe.
Yeah, so I know where you are 24/7.
And you're not that clever.
Oh, wow. Jabs left and right. Okay. Get back on with your story.
Okay, fine. And then I got recommended a YouTube video.
So you saw that and then you got recommended
another recommendation.
Okay.
So I'm like, maybe the universe is trying to tell me something, right? So it's basically about a guy, and I think I showed you the video too.
Which video? You show me a lot of videos.
The one that had was married
Oh, the Oprah one?
Yeah, 9 different families.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was an interesting one.
So this guy's a con artist, right? He targets I think very successful women.
Mm-hmm.
And he had family, or he was married. Either he was married, engaged, or had a family with 9 different people.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Women.
Over the span of 10 years.
Yes. So what he would do is he would get married and then break it off. And during that break off period, he would get engaged
to another girl.
To another girl. And then in the meantime, he would date somebody. It's like there's a chain.
Wow.
Or if he got kicked out of the house because he was his real identity was uncovered, he would jump to another person's house or person he was dating and proposes to her.
Yeah, it was a pretty gnarly story, and it's as real, right? Because all the spouses or all 9 women didn't really even know about each other until after the fact, right? When they finally caught the guy, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. But he had multiple identities with each woman. He would be posing as a military officer for
a pilot.
Another one was I don't know, just a wealthy, successful guy, right? That he said he has all this money, and he was taking the girl house shopping, her parents' house shopping. Mm-hmm. And stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then they were also talking, some of the women were talking about how he had, when he broke it off with them, his personality was almost a 180, completely different.
Yeah, or one of the ladies, she was talking about how the day they got married, mm-hmm. After the ceremony was done, he switched and he's like, I want a divorce.
The same day that they got married.
Yeah, and she was obviously upset.
Dude, but that
crazy. Set the tone for the marriage.
I feel so bad for them.
Yeah, and then this one time he pulled a gun on one of them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just he had these triggers.
Yeah, but the point is that with that kind of story, it was he basically was a con artist. And none of these women had any clue that that's what he actually was doing, and who he was, right? Who his true identity, true self is. Yeah. That he had been conning these people all along or stringing them along, even though they married him, right? Or got engaged to him. Mm-hmm. And I thought about it and I'm like, but how did they not know? Right? That was the interesting part. How do you not know?
I think that's one of the questions that were brought up too. It's because he
Yeah.
was so good at it.
Right.
And one of the ladies were saying that whenever he was out of town or seeing another woman, his excuse was, "Oh, I was trapped in the the storm or this or that." But
Well,
then
he was volunteering to help with the
yeah.
hurricane victims, I think.
Oh, I see. Yeah, and then but in reality, he was staying at someone else's house.
His other families.
Yeah.
Right. So he always had something, or he was going on a business trip or this or that, right?
But you hear that a lot in real life.
It does happen.
It does happen.
Yeah.
And I think like the human brain, we love to make things make sense.
Yeah,
right?
you fill in the blanks.
You fill in the blanks. So it's easy to, especially when it's someone you care about, you want to justify, you want to believe them. But I think that brings up like a very important thing is to trust your instinct. There might, something in your instinct will tell you, hey, something doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because like when I saw that and we're talking about this topic, it's kind of like, to me, it's like I don't want to be that partner that's paranoid of or like constantly being clingy or insecure and I need to know every minute where you're at or who you're with, right? I don't want to be that person. But then at the same, because I want to trust you. I think we talk about that a lot on our podcast, is that trust is a very important part of a healthy relationship. But then I also don't want to be a fool, right?
Yeah.
If there's something going on, or if there's like, if you're living a second life or you're doing something that I'm not aware of that's harmful to the relationship or to me or whatever, obviously I would want to know. I don't want to fall and be a victim to that. So where do you draw that kind of line? Like, to not be clingy, but at the same time, not be like naive either and gullible.
Yeah. I mean, I do understand that, it's important to trust in a relationship, right? Because most relationships are built on trust. That's
Right.
like one of the most important factors. But it's kind of hard because it's like sometimes you just don't know.
Sometimes, like, I think you also, when you're so in love with somebody, you kind of overlook things. It's like when you or you're not even in love, like even if you have a good friend, you can't see them a certain way except for what you think or what you want to see in them, right? It's like, oh, this is a good person, they're harmless, right? This or that. And I will always see you do that. But then if you do something out of character, it might not even trigger any red flags for me, because that's who I see you as. That's the identity that I've kind of put you in, right? And I think when you're in a relationship, sometimes that can be harmful because we lose almost our sense of like, we lose that sense of being a little bit cautious. You know what I mean?
Because you want to trust your partner.
Yeah.
Right? It's like when you're in a relationship with somebody, you always want to feel like you can trust that person 100%.
And you should, right? For the most part, like 90% of the time, 100%. I don't know if 100% is realistic in the sense that like you don't even question anything. Like if the person is showing up at like 3 a.m. on a work night and they don't have a good reason.
I think if something feels off and, if the stories constantly don't match, then I think
like how, for
like,
example?
let's say, for example, your spouse is always like, okay, I have a business trip, or
okay, let's say I have a business trip,
okay,
right?
let's say you're like, oh, I have to go on a business trip.
Yeah, I'm leaving this Friday. I won't be back for a week.
Yeah, and let's say,
and you're trusting, right? You're like,
that's
okay,
fine.
Sure, it's for work, right?
Yeah, but let's say if he comes home from the trip and he's refusing to share any details or any photos or anything
that I was even there,
that you were even there, or let's say you happen to go to a work function and you happen to ask someone, oh, how was that work trip?
Like a colleague or something.
Yeah, like a colleague, how was that work trip last week, right? And they're like, what work trip? We don't have any. We haven't had any for like 3 years. It's like kind of like, wait a minute.
So the story doesn't add up.
Or if your friends are telling you, hey, like, because or I hope you have friends that will tell you the truth, even if it's hard, friends or family. And if your friends or family are telling you, hey, something, like, I just feel it in my instinct, like this person is no good, or it's not good, or
or they have a side of them that you don't see.
Yeah, or like something seems off about that person, right? And I think it's really worth looking into.
But doesn't that make you crazy though? Doesn't that make you insecure? Where's the trust then?
I mean,
you should just trust me. I'm saying I'm going to a freaking work event. Trust me.
Yeah, I'll trust you, but
But
if I don't feel secure, or if there's something that feels off, then it doesn't hurt to just look into it.
I see. And how deeply would you look into it?
Maybe if he texts me, let's say if I sent him a text and I'm like, hey, are you coming home today? And he's like, no, I'm working late in the office, right? Maybe I'll just show up one day. Just to see.
What, you're going to bring dinner, right? Like, sweetie, I just brought you dinner. But in reality, your agenda is to see if he's really there.
Yeah, and if you don't have anything to hide, I think you would be more than happy to see that dinner.
Because maybe if I'm not there and I'm actually just a gambleaholic and I'm at the casinos and I'm betting our future away, that could be me too, right? That could be what I'm doing. It doesn't have to be like cheating or something else, you know? It's just I'm lying to you about what my other identity is.
Yeah. But that's hard though. It's like sometimes you really don't know.
No matter how long you've been with somebody, too.
Yeah, it's kind of like that that girl, Kelly, I think is her name. On Bling Empire.
Yep.
How she was talking about she was married to somebody for a couple of years, and they were super wealthy. But the reason why they were really wealthy was because the person she was married to was committing fraud.
Right. I think it was like on taxes or something like that, right?
I'm not sure what he was doing, but yeah, she was like, we were so wealthy. Like at one point they were charging like $400,000 a month on their Amex card, and then she lost everything.
Yeah.
And her comment was, wow, maybe you really don't know the person you're sleeping next to.
Yeah.
Because they're so good.
She thought it was legit, like the money came from a successful business, but it was actually criminal activities basically that created that money. And that's an extreme example for sure.
Yeah. So I think it's good sometimes maybe just to, if things don't make sense or if things seems too good to be true, to question and ask.
Yeah. So are you telling our audience to not trust their partners?
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm
just kidding. I'm teasing you.
It's always good to look for cues, right? Or and I'm not saying just like we're not only talking about long-term relationships. It's just whether you're dating or meeting somebody or your friends, or people you want to bring into your life.
Yeah.
Right. It's good to be observant.
Right.
Because like they say, right, the number one I think the number one criminal for robberies come from someone you know. So that says a lot. It's like the people you bring into your life, you should be careful. Because you don't really, like sometimes you don't really know exactly what their motives are, right? But there are cues, and I believe there are cues, like the way they treat others, or do they have friends that speak highly of them, or or when you talk to them, are their stories like inconsistent, right? There are cues.
So it makes me think about like with dating, like I don't think most people would do like a background check or Did you do a background check on me? I didn't do one on you.
No,
Maybe I should have.
That's where I messed up.
But it's not something that people think about, right? Like this person could be a sex offender. This person could be a convicted killer or whatever, right? Like, or this person could have committed crimes or things like that that you just don't know.
Yeah.
And they might present themselves with a certain identity, but in reality, they have another identity. That you have no idea, right, who that person is.
Yeah.
You hear stories all the time about this kind of stuff, right? Like people that marry a serial killer or somebody that marries, somebody that is not who you think they are, right? It does happen. So, I mean, obviously, I don't want people to feel like,
it's just a good
they're
topic.
afraid to date.
No, I think it's a good topic to think about. And it goes the other way, too, I feel. There are a lot of people with quote unquote criminal backgrounds, but they're innocent. Like you hear that all the time. So it's kind of like you don't really ever know a person, even if you do a background check.
Yeah, it's not definitive necessarily. But I think it's like a lot of this is about trust, right? And like we said, finding that balance between trust. And I think where people run into issues is maybe like what we're trying to say is like, even if you trust that person, don't lose your common sense. Don't lose your
gut instinct.
Your gut instinct, because that's what protects you. We kind of have that for a reason, right? Our intuition or our antennas are up whenever something doesn't feel right. No matter who it is, it's always important, I think, to maintain that, because a lot of times that's why they say love is blind, because a lot of times we overlook or we almost like block out, even if the information is there, the signs are there that something is wrong or something is not making sense. We, like you were saying, we tend to make it make sense in our own minds, so that this person fits this specific identity or image that we have of them, right?
Yeah. And don't dismiss what your family and friends and other people are telling you as well.
Yeah,
right.
Sometimes you can't see those qualities or actions that they're doing.
Yeah.
Because they might only treat you a certain way.
Yeah.
But it can happen to all of us, right? Even people we work with or people in our everyday lives that we come across. Again, this could be Joe Schmo and they seem perfectly normal, but we might not know that they actually have some other things going on in their life, right? Another identity.
Bringing that up, I do have a good story.
Do I need to get some popcorn?
Yeah, actually, this is good. Talking about the Joe Schmo on the street, right? Okay, so I worked for this company many years ago.
Don't say the employer.
No, of course not. But it doesn't matter. They've changed names a couple of times after that, so
got it.
You won't be able to trace back. So I worked for this company, and this guy, he actually delivers for the company. Like he delivers like supplies for us.
Oh, okay. So like a UPS person or?
Yeah, but it's like a third party.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Specific for your company.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Specific for our company, and sometimes he does like little like handiwork here and there, but mostly it's like deliveries.
Okay.
And
so the delivery guy.
Yeah, he does it for multiple branches.
Is it only for your company or is it other companies?
Yeah, only for our company. He does it for different branches, and I wasn't there when I wasn't. I've never met the guy, but.
So it's like, describe him. Like, is it just like...
But from what I've heard from the other employers is that he just seemed like a normal guy.
Okay.
Right. And I actually talked to, I was at a conference and I was talking to one of like the like managers at another branch, and they're the ones that brought up the story, right? Because they're like, hey, remember this guy? And everyone's like, yeah, he's like super normal. Like, I didn't know. Does
he bring you guys donuts and stuff?
No. He wasn't that friendly. But, I didn't know where they were getting. I thought they were just like
this is so random.
Yeah, I thought they were just like reminiscing about like an old employee or something, right? It's one of those. So they're like, they're like...
Call him Joe.
Yeah, call him Joe. Joe, you guys remember Joe, the delivery guy? And everyone's like, yeah, he seemed like super normal. And then one of the managers like, yeah, he used to come on the weekends when I was by myself into the branch and
Yeah.
delivered. He was super nice. Like they're like, oh, we remember him. He wasn't like very talkative. He just kind of did his job and he left the site. Seems really normal.
Yeah, nothing special about him.
Said hi to him.
Okay.
Right, and it turns out, listen to this. They found out he was a serial killer.
What?
Yes, and
Are you serious?
I swear, they found that. That's what
At your former company?
Yeah, he was like. He wasn't specific at my branch, but he delivered to a lot of the branches. So a lot of people knew him.
Wait, is this guy in jail or?
Yeah, he's in jail. He was the guy that I guess was storing like body parts in the refrigerator or something. Yeah, and everyone was like freaking, like they were like kind of giggling when they were telling.
You never
the story.
told me this story.
Yeah, I think I did.
No.
No? Oh, okay.
No,
well.
you did not tell me this story.
well,
I would have remembered this one.
Well, I know a lot of.
You have a lot of like random stories.
I don't know why. Just like.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah. So he was one of the guys that were like one of the killers that were storing like body parts in his like basement refrigerator or something, and they were like telling the stories but kind of like chuckling because they don't.
Oh,
I don't know if they're nervous or
because they've interacted with him before.
Yeah, and like on a weekend, and usually on the weekend it's like you're alone or you have like one other person, so it's like and it's just like come on in, come on in.
Damn. So nobody had any idea.
No one had any clues.
How could you, right?
How could you?
I mean, see, that's the thing, right? Like, even if, and we're talking about just, I mean, that's a little bit more casual, that's like somebody at work potentially, and you don't even know, like, behind that smile or whatever is a monster. You know what I mean? Like,
and his background check came out clear, obviously.
He hadn't been caught before.
Until
right?
now, right?
Wow. That's wild.
That's wild. And I was like, wait, what?
But how did they finally catch him?
I don't know the full details, but people were just
But this was after, obviously,
This
right?
was after the fact, yeah.
Whoa, that's nuts.
Yeah.
So that makes you kind of like paranoid in the sense that like it could be, anybody, right? Could be, I mean, we all have different masks too. I think sometimes people forget that we put on a certain persona, right? In front of different people, you act a certain way. But I would say most people, you're not acting that differently, where it's like almost a completely different person. But I wonder with that person, like that you're talking about, that's a crazy story, but it's like, imagine you were close with that person. I bet like people that he knew like well, they probably had no idea.
They probably had
and some people they hide it so well, right?
Yeah. They were probably at his house.
Oh man.
So who know? Yeah. So it's just like one of those things. It's
keep your antennas up.
Yeah, it's like you could do a background check. You could, I joke about it, right? Like
you're just scaring people now. It's like no, I'm never dating again.
But that's a true story.
Yeah.
It's kind of like. You could do a background check. He would have came out clear. He would have came clear. He would have been cleared until now. But before him getting caught, like you don't know. But
I don't know how those people. I mean, like obviously with people like that, their brain is wired differently, and so that's an extreme case, right? Like somebody that's killing people. But what about like just somebody else that's maybe like they have another issue, like a gambling issue or like a drinking problem, and they're hiding it from their spouse. They're just a different person. And I'm always surprised of, like I said earlier, is like I don't know how, like as someone that close, because I don't understand it, right, that there's no signs or that raise the red flags. Maybe like we were saying, it's because you trust that person so much and you want to see them for who you think you have, the image you have in your mind of them, right? I don't know. I guess that's the only explanation for it,
Yeah. But I feel like there are some professions that kind of forces them to be almost like a double person. So, like, let's say if you're, I don't know, a CIA. Is that what they call them?
Yeah. CIA,
Secret agent?
FBI, yeah.
Right, there are secrets that
That's
they
true.
have to.
It doesn't always have to be a bad identity, a second
No.
identity, right?
It's like things that they can't even like
Disclose
or tell, or they have to hold some secrets to their
Dang,
grave.
yeah.
So it's like, you know, there's them at work and then there's them at home,
That's true.
and they have to learn how to separate those two.
Yeah.
I mean, you do that to some extent, like no matter what your
Right.
you know profession is, but for some people, I feel like they have to take it to another level, and it's just like,
And they get so good at that
yeah,
that they can turn a switch on and off, right?
yeah. It's kind of like that History Channel.
Yeah, we watched a special on UFOs again, watching random stuff. And they were talking about this, they were interviewing this guy that works for Area 51. And basically, he's been with that government sector
Yeah.
sector for pretty much his whole life, right? His whole working career, at least.
Before it even went public, that
Yeah.
there's an Area 51.
Right. And then, you know, he pretty much said, like, none of his family knows any of the secrets. A lot of them don't even know that was what he does, right? That he works for a secret arm of the government. And he's pretty much taking that with him to the grave.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Like, if you're the person living the double life, like, man, that's impressive in a way too. Like, to be able to hold all those secrets, or to be able to juggle, like, not tripping over your own lies.
Exactly. And knowing me, I feel like I have to tell somebody. Yeah. I have to.
Yeah, that's why, like, I would never be able to do a double life, because I wouldn't be able to hold the secret with you. I'd be like, oh, I gotta tell her, or I'm not that slick with it, you know. I'll just be like, you'll find out very quickly, like, wait, something's off here.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's interesting too, because when you think of having like a double life, it's always about, it's like the guy either cheating or, you know, another family. But, you know, you can have a double life, I feel like, with your kids too.
How do you mean? I feel like you've got a story here, or something you want to share.
I know. I just want you guys to think I'm a freak.
It might be a little too late for that if anybody's been listening for a while, but
I don't know why. I just I just meet such random people.
Wait, you know somebody in this situation? What?
I do know.
Tell us more details.
Okay, so I'm not gonna disclose his relationship because I don't want it to get traced back or anything.
You got to give them a name though.
Okay, let's call him Joey.
Okay, Joey. So we went from Joe to Joey.
Okay, I'm not very creative, okay? So let's call him Joey. So Joey is a gambler.
Okay.
But Joey, you know, wins here and there, but like pretty good money, like 50 grand here, 100 grand there.
So he's, okay, yeah.
He's
pretty consistent.
And Joey loves to gamble. Him and his wife.
Okay.
They love to gamble.
Oh, a gambling couple.
Yeah. So, the wife doesn't gamble, but she goes to the casino with him.
Oh, I see.
Like,
she's like the support.
Yeah. And Joey and the wife, you know, goes probably multiple times a week and stays at a hotel. They do like fine dining.
Oh, damn. The high rollers.
Yeah. Yes.
So they get the special treatment.
Yeah, and they sit at the special seat.
Yeah, the high roller table.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't gamble, so I don't really know.
Like a VIP, basically.
Just from the stories I've heard.
Because if you go often enough and you bet a lot, you gamble a lot of money, they start giving you perks.
Yeah, he was saying that him and his wife gets free hotel stays.
Yeah, you get upgrades, you get nicer rooms, you get, a lot of times they'll pay for you to go out to somewhere like Vegas, right? And they'll pay for your trip to come out there because they know you're going to gamble.
Yeah, and like lobster dinner. But then his kids.
Little Timmy and
Todd.
Little Timmy and little Todd. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. They're probably like grown now. They're probably like in their 20s now.
Okay.
But, we know Timmy and Todd when they were a lot younger. And he was like very frugal with them. And when I meant like frugal, like let's say if they had to take the bus, he
Like
would
the
give
kids?
yeah the
little
kids,
Timmy and little Todd?
little Timmy and little Todd. He would give them, let's say if the bus fare is like 75 cents, that is all they're getting. It's 75 cents
To the penny.
Yeah, to the penny, right? And he made them wear only secondhand clothes. Timmy and Todd never got to go shopping. Like he was just like very frugal with them, and like
So did the kids think they were poor or something?
yeah, they lived like they were poor.
Okay.
And Timmy and Todd, it's graduated from high school and it's college time, and Timmy and Todd, is asking for a car. They're not asking for anything luxurious, or at least help with the car.
Yeah, something functional.
Something functional, and I'm pretty sure they could have negotiated to pay him back. The answer was no, and Timmy and Todd had to continue taking the bus to school, and it's very difficult.
Why did he say no? Why did the dad say no?
Because
Or Joey? Why did Joey say no?
Joey said no because they don't have money.
Oh, they can't afford it. Got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah, but little do they know that Joey has money that can
From the gambling.
From the gambling, yeah.
And he and his wife are high rolling every weekend.
Yeah, so they're enjoying a luxury life on the weekend, but yet, when they come
But they
home,
don't share it with their kids.
Exactly.
Well, maybe because the kids can't go to the casino. Oh, but they could stay at the resorts and stuff in the hotels.
But
yeah.
I mean, in that case, Timmy and Todd just wants to go to college.
That is so messed up. Like
Timmy and Todd just wants to go to college and not have to take the bus because it's hard.
Sorry, sons. We can't, pay for your college because mommy and daddy have to go
They're
on
not
a
even
luxurious
asking to pay for college. They're just asking to help with the car.
for a car to get to college.
To get to college.
We got the tuition.
Yeah,
Oh,
because they could take a
man.
student loan, right?
So they thought they were poor this whole time, but they didn't know that their parents were actually very or wealthy or had money.
Or they're not
More than
I
what
wouldn't-
they have.
Yeah, more than what
They were getting,
the lifestyle they were living.
Wow. Okay. Maybe they were just trying to teach them, about life.
I mean, I understand that, but that's
pretty
extreme.
I would be so mad if I was Timmy or like Todd. Like if I found out my parents, you just gave me 75 cents for the freaking bus, or you couldn't buy me a car, and you guys are like on the weekends going to these like 5-star resorts or hotels and stuff, and you're eating lobster and steak for dinner,
Yeah.
and we're not getting anything. We're getting freaking like, I don't know, Lunchables.
Yeah. But that kind of reminds me of I don't know if you've seen it, but Little Fires Everywhere with
No.
Reese Witherspoon.
Is that a movie or
And
something?
I
or-
think Kerry Washington. No, it's a Netflix series.
Oh no, I haven't
No.
seen it.
But so Carrie, she plays I don't remember her character name, but she basically has a daughter, right? And I'm not gonna go into too much details, but they live basically in the car, or like from place to place because they don't have money, right? But it turns out, the daughter eventually finds out that they actually have money.
So same kind of scenario.
Same kind of scenario, because she was left with this painting from her ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
She's like a famous artist, like a really famous artist, and as she passed away, but before she passed away, she gave her a very like famous, like, I don't know, painting or art that she made, right? So basically, if she was ever in need of money, is to sell that away, and it would have gotten her a lot of money for it. But then yet the daughter finds out, and she was like furious because she's like, she lived her whole life thinking that they were so poor that they couldn't afford anything, and sleeping in the car, to finding out that her mom is actually very wealthy.
So she was hiding her wealthy identity from her own daughter.
Yeah.
Why did she do that though?
Well, it's because she was there. It's a long. I don't want to
Oh,
spill,
okay.
but she was trying to.
I'm just trying to figure that out. Like, why would you do that to your kids?
Identity, but because of an incident.
So even in the case of parents, it can happen.
Yeah.
You don't know.
You don't know exactly.
Oh my God. So basically in this episode, we're telling you guys
Be suspicious of everybody.
Be suspicious of everybody. Oh, just kidding. No, I mean, I think the moral of the story or our takeaway with this discussion is just trust, but also still, like, what's that saying? Trust but verify, right? Like, trust and still also keep your antennas up and don't lose that side of you that's meant to protect you,
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who it is.
And don't be Linda and go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah, I don't know where it'll end. But okay, we hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I think that kind of wraps things up. And so make sure again to follow us if you already aren't on our YouTube channel and Instagram at Magnetic Mismatch, and make sure to subscribe and give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast.
Yeah. And make sure to follow us on Instagram because we're planning on doing a little giveaway soon.
Yeah.
So just make sure you don't miss out on that opportunity to enter. Yeah. And also make sure to tune in every Thursday because that's when we release a new episode. Yep. So until next time.
Bye guys.